and our full attention on 2026 for FC Cincinnati. If we look at the official offseason timeline, Champions Cup Draw. So like we're talking about here, always happens at the beginning of the seasons, at least the way the schedule is. Tuesday, December 9th, it's going to be live on YouTube. We'll find out who we play, where we're going to go travel. Last year we were in Honduras. Year before we were in Jamaica, but third year in a row for FC Cincinnati in that. Free agency, like we mentioned last time, opens up December 10th. Some notable free agents that maybe we would like to see a flyer on. Do you have any off the cuff, or I could start first? If
you could start.
Yeah, so they've announced a lot of roster decisions, other clubs, but Christian Espinoza is a consistent player. He's been with San Diego Quakes for a long time. They just let this player go, Sam. Like one of their best players. We talked about, at least getting these guys under contract and then maybe trading. They straight out let their best player go. So Christian Espinoza, we'd have to play him, in a winger spot right now. But if we switch maybe to a 4-back and you have Ender as your right wing, you could put Espinoza as your left. This guy has been shown to just have multiple goal contributions per season. The other one, again, another winger, Paul Rothrock. I think this guy could maybe play a little bit more defensively in both ways. And then Cesar Ajuaro, who is a pretty young center mid, who was released by Orlando. Just more depth for us, especially if we maybe add a midfielder, to the starting looks. But I'm kind of looking around the league for options for a starting wing back or maybe a center back that we could look at and get a flyer on. That would be kind of the other positions to look at. But Sam, any for you?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about center backs. Why don't you throw out there Walker Zimmerman?
Walker Zimmerman, yeah. He's going to be a pretty penny, man.
Oh, I know. What, he was a DP, right, for Nashville. So he's going to be wanting something out there from, one of the MLS teams. And former U.S. men's national team starter has kind of fallen out of the ranks there. So he'll be wanting to make that final push, here at the beginning of 2026 to see if he can restake his claim on the U.S. men's national team. We'll see, but that's a guy to look out for to see where he goes. As far as, I saw Benteke, but he's 34 years old.
We're not going to sign Benteke.
No. But... yeah, it's interesting. There's a lot of options out there. I know as we continue more in the offseason talk, we'll talk about needs and, everything from a roster standpoint as, those pending options and loan options come in. But Ryan, this free agent pool, as we're looking at it, I mean, obviously we have two more teams that still need to, well, I guess we have a couple more teams that still need to announce roster decisions right after the season ends, but free agent class really isn't wowing me.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's some guys that at least they catch your eye, but then they're also negotiating with their club, so it's not necessarily an option. And it hasn't really been shown from our model to go out and really get these guys. That's not really our thing necessarily, but shoot, I mean, if some of these guys are available and you could at least go and chat with them, like I think it's worth the talk that way. Are we going to see more like cash first, like Evander's trade from Portland to FC in the offseason? I think that's one thing to look out for as well. SuperDraft, Sam, is going to be December 18th. We have less and less value, I think, in this every year. It seems like we touched a little bit on that last time. But for really what we want to kind of cover for the last part of this episode is, going into 2026, now we have, 21 spots that are taken up. And the club is entering, at least for now, in a 3 DP and 3 U22 model. In regards to our GAM totals, we have 0 as of September. That is going to change with getting the sale of Barreal. Is it going to be about 2.5, 2.88, somewhere in that ballpark? Because we get that conversion from the sale to our GAM to be able to go and get players. But our DPs, again, Miles, Evander, Denkey, our U22s, and Gidi, Ender, and Flores. And then 14 senior roster spots, 6 plus or minus open, depending on what you look at Hagelin and Anunga. 7 international spots and 1 being open. There is there's not a lot of flexibility in this roster the way that it currently stands, Sam.
No, not at all. I mean, you're looking at, like you said, the the roster spots we have available. And, we have a lot of senior roster spots, and that's the bulk of what we're missing, because, we were able to get rid of, a decent amount of those options that would require the senior spots. So that's good. At least you're able to bring in, some guys with experience, hopefully to help, add some depth to the squad to put behind the likes of a Miles, Evander, and Denkey in the DP positions. But yeah, I think that the biggest question obviously is how much are we going to get from the Barreal sale? How much will that impact the game going forward? What are we going to use that towards? And then what's going to happen with Brenner? I mean, you're looking at this system, 3 DPs, 3 U22s, and I believe, right, if Evander's purchase option, right, is triggered, that automatically makes him a DP because of the amount of money that we had to spend to get him, right? Correct? Or
You
that
mean
he would be
Brenner
making?
or
Brenner, yeah, right?
you said Evander? Sorry.
Did I?
Yeah. So
Sorry.
if we do trigger the loan of Brenner, it's like 6.2 is what Laurel was saying, which
which
would
make him
have
a
to make
DP.
him a
Yeah.
DP unless we renegotiate and he comes back somehow, on a TAM contract, which is what we had him on. But again, the flexibility is just kind of like, what do we do with these spots? I mean, we need a starting level wing back, I would argue. If we don't get Angle, of course, then we do. But then it's really center back depth. Who do you start, in the middle with Buka? Is it Gidi or is it Obi? These are all good problems to have, but how do we get the best out of it? I just think that year to year, if you look from last year to this year, I really have to say I like the fact that a lot of our big pieces, at least on paper, it seems like are staying together. But now how can we make the most of these guys and to further ourselves? But yeah, that's where it comes down to looking at rumors. So Sam, you put a couple here. I'll start with Teenage Hadebe back in September. He had been linked with the Zimbabwean club, I believe, but at least for now, they're negotiating his contract. So it seems like that's where it's headed. Again, this has been a couple months now. We could have signed the player, maybe negotiate, and then just basically so we could get the sale. But I don't know, man. It is interesting with him. Bringing him back on a high number just wouldn't make any sense, especially while, getting Miles as a DP. There's a ton of talk about the back line, Sam. Like, we've given up multiple games now, 4 goals, and we're potentially bringing back these same exact center backs. Like, what changes?
Yeah, we just talked about a guy in Walker Zimmerman. Doesn't make, obviously he's going to be a pretty penny, but would he be less than Hadebe at this point? If we were to sell, we would sell, say we sell Hadebe, right? Use the GAM from that, and then the GAM from Barreal.
I think, again, a guy that's in the later part of his career, like we have that already with Miazga. Like, I think we need some fresher legs, personally.